Dragons. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. Today is Monday. It is February the 7th, 2022. It's the 111th day of school. I'm Mr. Butcher. It's my job to keep you guys safe so that you can show us how excellent you can be. Hopefully you've left your average at home or on the bus and you are ready, which means being in the right place at the right time with the right stuff. To have a respectful, which means treating others the way you want to be treated, and responsible, which means doing your job with a smile on your face and giving perfect effort. A ready, respectful, and responsible day. Speaking of responsibilities, our first responsibility every day is to be ready to show respect for the rights that we have in this country as well as at this school. We do this by daily saying the Pledge of Allegiance, the school pledge, as well as our moment of silence. When we do this, we want you to show respect. And how do you show respect? You stop what you're doing, stand up tall, put your hands over your hearts, say the pledge loudly, clearly, and with pride. If you guys would please stand for the pledge, remain standing for the Kennedy School Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the Kennedy School Pledge. I pledge myself as a Kennedy Dragon to be ready for the day ahead of me. I'll be respectful of myself, my teachers, and all others I meet throughout the day. I promise to be responsible for myself, my actions, and my learning. I'll work my hardest to be the best dragon I can be. All right, our second responsibility is to try to keep each other safe by slowing down the spread of germs. We do this by frequently washing our hands. When we wash our hands, we want to make sure that we're using soap and water. If we do not have access to soap and water, you can a hand sanitizer, that is an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, will be sufficient. When we wash our hands, we want to get all parts of our hands. The palms of our hands, the backs of our hands, our fingertips in between our fingers, our wrists, and our thumbs. When we wash our hands, we want to make sure that we're doing it for at least 20 seconds. Let's model what good hand washing looks like now. Get the palms of your hands. Get the back of your hand. Get the back of your other hand. Get in between your fingers. Get your fingertips. Get your other side fingers. Get your wrist. Get your other wrist. Get your, I said wrist, but I did your thumb. Do your wrist now. Get your other wrist. And now your hand should be nice and clean. I made a big mistake. Okay, so we've done our pledges, we've done our moment of silence, we've done our hand washing. Let's show respect for those that have birthdays today. Happy birthday to Michaela Henson, who's 11, Lily Case, who's 8, Mia Brown, who's 9, and Avery Lee is 5. We'll make sure you guys get your birthday. Our next responsibility in the morning is to make sure we make our lunch choice. For lunch today, cheesy rotini, garden salad, green beans, and fruit. If you don't want cheesy rotini, you will get a garlic roll with that. You can always get PB&J or the yogurt muffin. February is Black History Month. Each day in the month of February, we will talk about one famous African American who's had a huge impact on the society in the United States or in the world. Charles Richard Drew, born in 1904 in Washington, D.C., was an African American doctor. He grew up in Washington, D.C. and spent much of his childhood playing sports. He was very athletic, engaging in multiple sports and earning many medals for his performances. He attended Dunbar High School and was on a few sports teams there, such as basketball and football. When he graduated high school in 1922, he earned himself a sports scholarship to attend Amherst College. He continued to perform in sports teams during his time there. 4 years after enrolling at Amherst, he earned a bachelor's degree in biology. He wanted to go on to medical school but did not have enough money to do so right away. To save money, he began teaching biology and working as an athletic coach at Morgan College, now Morgan State University. After 2 years, he was able to save the funds he needed to apply to medical school, and in 1928 he became a student at Montreal, Canada's McGill University. During his time in medical school at McGill University, Drew performed very well in his studies and earned a degree in neuroanatomy. He graduated in 1933 with 2 degrees, Doctor of Medicine and a Doctor of Surgery. He went on to complete his medical internship and later residency in the Royal Victoria Hospital and then Montreal General Hospital. By the year 1938, Drew had earned a Rockefeller Fellowship, allowing him to conduct his research at Columbia University in New York City. He continued studying blood and blood transfusions during the time with John Scudder. At this time, he successfully developed a process for preservation of blood plasma. This was a great feat because plasma can be safely stored for much longer than blood with all its components. Drew even figured out that blood plasma can be dried and remade into liquid form when it's needed to be used. This process allows donated blood to be stored and saved for the use in future medical treatments. This research earned Drew an additional doctorate degree in 1940 from Columbia. He was the first African American person to do so at that institution. During World War II, Drew helped collect and process blood plasma in New York to send out to Allied soldiers in need. He also founded the blood bank of the American Red Cross. He wanted to help the United States military develop a blood bank as well, but the time they were demanding that the plasma of blood donated from African Americans be segregated, which Drew was infuriated by. He resigned his work with the military over it. Dr. Charles Drew is known for having created two of the very first ever blood banks. After this work, he began working at Howard University, becoming a professor in 1941. He even became the head of the Department of Surgery and later Freedman's Hospital. He was also appointed the very first African American of the American Board of Surgery. Charles Drew died quite young, unfortunately, from a car accident in 1950, but he accomplished a great amount in a short period of time. It is time for our writing and vocabulary activity. Here's our picture for this week. It's a cool one. Today we're just looking at it. Try to get our ideas flowing, looking for certain things that you see, look in the foreground, in the background, look at everything that's in here and what do you see. This week we'll be asking you for nouns, persons, places, things, and ideas, things that you can see, feel, hear, touch. We're going to be looking for action, verbs, which are words that show action, what's going on in this text, in this picture. And we're going to be looking for adjectives and adverbs. Those are those words that describe. They tell you what kind, which one, how many, to what extent. Also prepositions and prepositional phrases. They show a relationship between two nouns. So be looking for those. Tomorrow we'll start with our nouns. All right, it's time for our math problem of the week. There's a K1, a 2-3, and a 4-5. You can do any of them, but you can do more than one, or you can just do one of them. Use the whiteboard that we sent to the teachers. Make sure you show your work and explain your answer. Don't forget your name. Here's the kindergarten and first grade math problem. Using the digits 1 through 9, at most one time each, place a digit in each box to create a true statement. You can use manipulative to help you. You can use your number line to help you. Use whatever you want, but you can only use the number once in each of the boxes. Here's the second and third grade. Using the digits 1 to 9, exactly one time each, place a digit in the box to make the sum as close to 1,000 as possible. You can only use each digit once, 1 through 9, no zeros. Here's the fourth and fifth grade question. Ms. Ham's students are working on generating patterns following a rule. One student uses tiles and makes the first 3 patterns. Determine the rule the student is using to create the patterns and tell how many tiles will be used to make stages 7 and 23. Today's message for the day is on choices and how it shows our character. Let's talk about principles for a minute. Not principles like me, but the kind of principles that are rules for living. Beliefs that help us know what we ought to do or not to do. Principles help us in life. Whether our principles are based on our religious beliefs or on lessons that we've been taught by our parents and caregivers, or the morals that we've learned from books and stories or the church that we go to. When you know what rules you are living by, it's much easier to make the right choice. Today, take time to make a list of principles that you believe or your family believes, your own special rules for how you want to be the best person you can be. then think about those principles and help make better choices. Something to think about. Mr. Butcher, make today your masterpiece or not. The choice is yours. And that's so true. If you believe something, your actions should show that. If you believe that hard work will help you get better, then you should have hard work, to put it there. If you believe that you should treat people with respect and that you should be treated with respect, then you should treat people with respect. There you go. Have a great day. That is all we have for announcements, so please help me
and your teachers keep you safe. That is our job.
And your job is to help us keep you safe.
And you can help us by being a ready, respectful, and responsible student who is focused on graduating in the year.
Because when you are a ready, respectful, and responsible student focused on graduation, you are fully committed to student success. I love you very much. Have a read aloud. It's still month of February, so every book that we do will be written by an African American author, or will have African American as the main character. Today's book is Knock Knock. It's another Coretta Scott King honor book. It's by Daniel Beatty. He's the author. Illustrated by Brian Collier. Illustrates mean they drew the pictures. Author is the person that wrote the words. As I read, I'm going to try to model what good readers do, which means I'm going to try to read fluently, read the words correctly at a good pace, not too fast, not too slow, and with expression. As I read, this is a great opportunity for you to practice what good readers do when they're reading. Listen. This is a fiction book. Listen for the story elements, the character, who or what the story is about, the setting, where and when the story is taking place, the sequence of events, what happens first, next, and last, because that will help you to comprehend what you're reading. Also, too, good readers ask themselves questions. What just happened? Why did it just happen? And they try to predict what's going to happen next. So here we go. Knock, Knock. My Dad's Dream for Me by Daniel Beatty, illustrated by Brian Collier. Knock, Knock. My Dad's Dream for Me. Every morning I play a game with my father. He goes on my door and I pretend to be asleep till he gets right next to the bed. Then I get up and jump into his arms. Good morning, Papa! And my Papa tells me, I love you. We share a game of knock knock. And then one day the knock never comes. I wait, but Papa's not there to play our game. Uh-oh. So every day he knocks and says, wake up. He pretends to be asleep, but today he's not there. What do you think happened? And morning after morning, he never comes. He never comes to help me get ready for school. Uh-oh. He never comes to cook my favorite scrambled eggs. He never comes to help me with my homework after school. I listen at the door, but I never hear his knock. And then I think, maybe he comes when I'm not home. So I decide to write him a letter and leave it on my desk. Papa, come home, 'cause I miss you. Miss you waking me in the mornings and telling me you love me. Papa, come home, 'cause there are things I don't know. And when I get older, I thought you could teach me how to dribble a ball, how to share, how to drive a car, how to fix the car. Papa, come home, 'cause I want to be just like you, but I'm forgetting who you are. 2 whole months pass, and my letter to my Papa still sits on my desk, but I leave it and wait for my Papa's knock. And then one day I come home from school, on my desk I find a letter from my father to my dear son. Dear son, ask your mama to help you make those scrambled eggs we love. Remember to do your homework before you watch TV. I am sorry I will not be coming home. For every lesson, I will not be there Every lesson I will not be there to teach you. Hear these words. As you grow older, shave in one direction with strong, deliberate strokes to avoid irritation. Dribble the page with brilliance of your ballpoint pen. No longer will I be there to knock on your door, so you must learn to knock for yourself. Knock, knock down those doors that I could not. Knock, knock to open those new doors to your dreams. Knock, knock for me, for as long as you become your best, the best of me still lives in you. Knock, knock with the knowledge that you are my son and you've been bright and have a beautiful future. For despite my absence, you are still here. Knock, knock. Who's there? You are. Knock, knock. My dad's dream for me.